In today's video, we're going to dissect a new market that has been absolutely booming in the past few years. And this market is expected to reach over $4 billion by 2030, which is ridiculous. And not only that, we're also going to dissect a specific Shopify store in this category so that you can get inspired and apply whatever it is they're doing to your brand. This brand is doing quite well. It's called Echo, and their traffic distribution tells us that they're doing quite well, as I just said. So they're getting around 150,000 monthly visitors. Now, an average ratio on Shopify of visitors to revenue, especially with this sort of traffic distribution where they're getting a lot of US visitors, is anywhere from 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 even. For example, here's a brand that my team at Akemi works with and where I'm an advisor at that has a 1 to 5 almost ratio of visitors to revenue. So with that said, we can easily estimate this brand to be doing anywhere from 500K a month to 800K a month, even $1 million a month potentially. But let's continue on here. We don't want to get caught up in the details. This brand is absolutely beautiful. I love the design of this store, and hydrogen water is such a booming market, as I just mentioned. It's estimated to grow to over $4 billion by 2030. And here's kind of the reasoning why this is surging in popularity. It's because of something else that we've been talking about on the channel recently, which is the surge of the health trend and biohacking trend. People are trying to optimize their lives for longevity. And as you see, hydrogen-rich water is water infused with molecular hydrogen gas, which is believed, keyword believed, to possess antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Now, that's one of the interesting things about this niche, is that a lot of these things are not necessarily proven, but there are studies that suggest these things are true, and this is the reason why they're selling so well. So let's actually dive a little bit deeper into their product page. Let's look at their best sellers. It's mainly this Echo Flask. They also do have a pitcher and another, I think this is for cleaning products. Really cool, actually. I really like this. But their main product is this Echo Flask hydrogen water bottle. It's $300, so it's not cheap by any means. This is interesting. They have an HSA or FSA coverage. This is a interesting plan that a lot of women are a part of, I believe, that allows them to buy things with their insurance. It's something along those lines. I'm not exactly sure. I may be butchering it, but that's more or less how it works. Now, with a product like this, education is going to be pretty key, right? Because a lot of people may not really understand what are the benefits of this. So one interesting thing where you can actually understand what people are asking about, which you can use in your site, is the comments of your ads. So this brand does run a significant amount of ads, 43 different results, nothing too crazy, right? Some of the pros on Meta, some of the biggest brands on here are running thousands of ads. But with that said, they do have some really nice ads with really good brand design, and they're educating consumers on exactly the reason why they should buy this, but they're not even replying to every single comment. This is a common trend that I see, and this is an easy way that you can get ahead of your competitors, is by simply having a higher response rate on your ads. So they're responding to about 62% of comments. And these are some of the things that you can kind of understand in their comments that people are asking about, right? So they're asking about shipping delays. They want to know more FAQs. FAQs are actually another really brilliant thing to add to your landing pages. This is something I talked about with my team recently. I told them, the more FAQs, actually, the better sometimes, because especially with products like this, it could take just one question that a customer has and they want an answer for to convert them, right? But maybe that one question wasn't answered and it's just going to cost them to leave. Whereas if you just would have had that question, they would have converted. So that's where this is a free tool, by the way. It's called smartreply.io. If you go to smartreply.io and then you go to, in the menu, there's a free tools tab. It allows you to get this whole comment report on any page, right? So you can use this to go to your competitors, for example, analyze their comment scores, see if they're actually doing a good job of replying to their comments, and then also get some ideas from their negative comments for things that you can do better than them. And also from their positive comments, you can learn, what are the things that people really like about the brand. Some people are asking some really interesting things, but ultimately what I find super interesting about this brand is just how quickly this trend is unfolding, right? As you see, this is growing significantly. It was estimated to be $2 billion in 2022, and it's going to double in the next, 5 years. That's significant growth. And it's actually possible that it grows even more because these health trends are just completely taking over the world. And you can understand why, right? It's because anything that allows you to live longer, quote unquote, is gonna be the easiest thing to sell, right? That's just simply one of the best angles that you could possibly target, right? Nobody wants to live a shorter life. Everybody wants to spend more time with their family, more time with their loved ones, more time making memories. These are really powerful angles, right? And those are the things that you can dive into with your marketing. And it's something a lot of people don't understand, right? I mean, these guys have a really, really great aesthetic and they're really educating people. I actually love these kinds of posts. They should be running some of these as ads. There's really no reason not to test some of those as ads. That's another thing I do see a lot with brands, especially some of the brands that we advise or run ads for, is they're just very particular about the kind of ads that they want to run. But in reality, you should be testing more ads, because with Meta, what's amazing about Meta ads is that you won't spend budget on ads that are not converting, right? So you don't really have to worry so much about the brand image, if you're running an ad that people are not going to like, because if people don't like it, Meta is not going to put budget into it. Obviously, it depends on how you structure your campaigns, but this is the best way to structure your campaigns, at least in our opinion, and just based on what Meta's best practices are as well. I really love this aesthetic, though. This has such a congruent brand image, and believe it or not, these things actually do make a difference in the long term. But I'm surprised that their revenue in their direct-to-consumer site is not higher, because I don't know, this just seems like such an easy product to scale to me based on the average order value. I could be wrong, I don't know their metrics, right? But products with a $300 average order value, I don't know how much it costs to produce a product like this, but I would imagine maybe, let's say, $40 shipped and produced, maybe $50. It does come with an app as well, which is really, really cool. I love products that have app integrations, although it adds a little bit of complication. It just introduces a whole new monetization structure that you can add to your business that allows it to be even stronger, right? I just love the idea of pairing e-commerce physical products with digital products, whether it be ebooks, courses, or apps, right? Especially with the AI revolution, it's easier than ever to develop software. So because of that, I do think more brands should consider introducing software into their businesses as just additional products. Now, as I mentioned, let's actually just look at their funnel a little bit. So they have a really nice upsell funnel, really smart to do that, of course. They can even do some sort of coverage here. So they're kind of selling insurance, which is another great revenue stream that you could have for a product like this. It's just getting people to insure the water bottle. Very brilliant. And then, you see they got these hydrogen sticks that you can add in there for extra hydration. And these are great upsells, brilliant upsells. They don't have a ton of products, but this is really all they need. So they're doing an amazing job at expanding their product line. I think most people, especially people who are just starting, drop shipping, for example, they would just start with a single product. And personally, I would still call this a single product store because this is the main product, right? But almost every single example that I've seen of brands that scale to 8, 9, and even billion-dollar levels, 8, 9 figures is what I was saying. They do this, right? They expand their product line. And the reason why is because that's an easy way to increase the lifetime value of your customer. If somebody buys this, right, they're not likely to buy another one for a very long time if your product is good, right? If your product actually is, is good and durable, it's not going to break in a long time. Therefore, people are not going to want to buy another one. So it's a really great idea to introduce other products. This is the biggest downfall of electronics brands, even though it's the biggest segment on Shopify. Believe it or not, it's actually the biggest one. The downfall of it is that, people don't really buy that same product for a long time. So the lifetime customer value is very low. Therefore, it's really smart to introduce other products. Now, they're posting a lot on other social media channels, right? So we saw their Instagram, super clean Instagram. They're posting some reels in here. These are nice, actually. They should be running all of these as ads. I don't see why they wouldn't. Again, that's a big mistake that brands make, in my opinion, but they're doing a lot of things right. So don't get me wrong here. They are posting on TikTok as well. Oh, wow. They got a 10X Health collaboration. That's pretty interesting. So that's Grant Cardone's company. Grant Cardone is making moves. He is always making moves. It's actually pretty impressive, I'm not going to lie. And they do also post on YouTube. I really like when brands post on YouTube because I really do think today's day and age is all about redistribution, right? So if you can have some really cool YouTube content, you can redistribute that content everywhere and then use that as ads, use the best performers as ads and things like that. It's actually what I want to do with my channel. So I am looking for a channel manager right now. Most of you guys probably know my channel as like a very simple channel, and it is, but I do want to redistribute my content a little bit better. But not just that, I also want to start streaming more because, my content is so raw and unedited that I feel like it's the perfect thing to stream. I could just be doing this in a stream and be creating videos out of it. So then I can post more for you guys. I can cover more diverse ranges of topics, right? E-commerce, but also a bit on investing, some of the other things that I love personally, startups in general, right? Even software. This is my software. If you didn't know, this is called ShoppyLab.ai. It's a software and coaching community. I call it an accelerator because my ultimate goal with it this year is to invest into the brands that join. We've had some really cool brand owners join. I even have some of my 8-figure, 9-figure friends joining. It's really cool. And I want to invest in some of these brands, right? So that's why it's an accelerator, similar to Y Combinator, but primarily focused on e-commerce. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for this brand. Just super cool market, super cool niche. I think the hydrogen water niche, I don't just know this, I see it. It's going to continue to grow exponentially, and we'll see what happens with it. I mean, maybe at some point there will be some studies that prove otherwise, that this isn't as good as people think, but I don't think so. I think it's probably the opposite. More and more people are going to find out about this, and it's just scratching the surface. And another last thing I want to mention before I go is anytime you see these videos with these trends, remember that these are almost all based in the US population, which is 300 million people or so, 340. Guess what? There's about 7 billion people in the rest of the world. And you know what? I believe they all would want to live longer. I believe they all want to, participate in the longevity trend and the health trend. So if you're in a small country, you may think that's a disadvantage, but try to remove all your limiting beliefs and test products like this in your country. I've seen it so many times. People taking these amazing trends from the US and just selling it in their own small country. Let's say, even in like Estonia or something. I know it's a very small population, or Norway, right? Norway is like 5 million people, but guess what? There's a huge GDP and ultimately online emergence happening in so many countries in the world. So yeah, maybe you're not going to build, a multi-billion-dollar company by selling some of these products, but even just a multi-million-dollar company can completely change your life. So don't neglect these opportunities, especially if you're in other parts of the world, even India. I know a lot of you guys are from India. India's got 1 billion people, right? And obviously not everybody's going to be shopping so much. I know they're what's it called? COD is really big in India, but still, you can take advantage of some of these opportunities, some of these trends. And of course, you can always trust that on this channel, I'm always going to be educating you and helping you stay on top of all these new developments, these new trends. That's what I love to do. I love to investigate. I love to strategize, and I'm using some of those skills and knowledge to invest in some of these brands. Yeah, we're doing some big things over here. So I'm excited you're a part of it. I'm excited that you're here. Soon we'll start streaming, so turn on those notifications for this channel as always, and I'll start streaming for you guys so we can interact live and make some of this content together. It'll be super interesting. There's also like so many YouTube videos that I want to watch that I just never have time to watch that I think you guys would love too. So I would love to commentate on these videos, even like the latest Google recap that they did with their brand new AI launches. It's literally insane. I want to watch this. I haven't had the chance to, so it would be so fun to watch this on stream with you guys, and that's something I'm going to do. So let me know if that's a cool idea, if you'd like that, and that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.